So after Katrina hit, the Corps of Engineers not only went back to the drawing board, it has had sea level rise guidance that should influence not only, it was a required piece of guidance for every Corps of Engineers project, and it was in that balkanized way there for everyone else to use if first of all they were aware of it and second of all they figured out what to do with it and chose to. That went for other federal agencies as well as other folks like private citizens, towns, you name it. So they had something since 1992, but it had not been a big driver. And in fact, it was not enough, as we all learned the hard way, to prevent the disastrous impacts of Katrina. So a whole new multifaceted anticipatory design protocol was mapped out after Katrina, and then that was canonized in a very clear stepwise fashion with climate adaptation, resilience at multiple levels, and a design life of however long that infrastructure was expected, and as long as the cost benefit and financial business case was, if you're going to say this is going to be, we're spending this money because it's going to do this for this long, but you haven't correctly accounted for the conditions that are that you can anticipate over that functional life, you've missed a really important piece of your due diligence process, which in fact was normal to have happen. So in this case, they made that protocol very real, and they'd really gotten that pushed out to a lot of agencies, and the whole Department of Defense had a big wake-up call where they really changed all of their real estate and facility investment decisions. When Sandy hit, it actually provided the opportunity for the Corps of Engineers to study everything from Maine to Norfolk, everything that they could remotely say had to do with the Sandy impact area. And they said, we're going to actually complete this multi-million-dollar assessment to look at all of the Corps of Engineer projects in that area and look at, well, what were the assumptions when they were built? And do they still hold water, literally and figuratively, today? Where are there coastal change, erosion, and land migration processes? Where are there new flood risks? What is vulnerable should some of these Corps of Engineers projects not function the way they were originally designed? So anyway, that whole study, the Sandy Comprehensive Study, actually provided, I would say, of all the things that have happened in the last 25 years, that study actually systematically combed through the available history and has put together a set of very specific actionable things. There are a couple of projects in the Boston area where deficits were identified and solutions were identified, and that's particularly true in the areas that were, because of the tide and timing, more impacted by Sandy. But I guess that's the silver lining of waiting until a disaster, waiting until your boat is sunk. You can still be a hero if the areas that take note of that and do systematically identify something to do differently and better. That's there. So I guess everybody should be looking for that information and helping to make all of those identified opportunities everything they can be.